It's Mosquito Awareness Week, so it's time to be on the lookout for those pesky bugs. And before they attack, make sure your family's covered. Luz Maria Robles is the Public Information Officer for the Sac Yolo Mosquito and Vector Control District, and she's here to help us fight the bite. Welcome,
yes,
Luz.
Thank you so much for having me. It's the official launch of our mosquito season, but I think maybe people have already been noticing mosquitoes with the very warm temperatures and just spring and people spending time outdoors.
Yes, and I love that you brought in a few friends, as we obviously have here.
Yes. Good thing they're not really this size, right?
Yes,
That'd be
exactly.
scary.
Maybe for the dinosaurs this would have worked, but
yeah, exactly. Not for us. Not for us.
So, Luz, what is the Sacramento Yolo Mosquito and Vector Control District, and what services does this agency provide?
So we are the local agency in charge of protecting the residents of Sacramento and Yolo counties against mosquitoes and mosquito-transmitted diseases. As you know, West Nile virus continues to be a huge issue in our area, so that's the primary disease that we're concerned with, and it's our focus to make sure that we keep residents protected.
All right, and where do mosquitoes breed, and are there different types of mosquitoes?
Yes, there's many different types of mosquitoes. Here in our area, we have about 24 different species of mosquitoes that are around in different times of the year. But all mosquitoes start their life in water, and I bring that up because a lot of people don't know that. So here we have a mosquito life cycle container that actually shows the different stages in a mosquito life cycle. So there's excuse me, there's 4 stages in a mosquito life cycle. They all, for the most part, lay their eggs on top of the water. Once the eggs hatch, they hatch into larvae, the little wiggly ones. That's what you would actually see if you leave some water in a container in your backyard. So if you see this, dump it out because those are baby mosquitoes. So after the larvae, they turn into the pupa, and then from there you get the adult mosquitoes that are flying around. You can see that actually the female mosquitoes are a little bit larger than the male mosquitoes. And actually, did you know that only female mosquitoes bite?
No.
Yeah, so next time you have a mosquito flying around you, it's probably a female looking to bite. And do you know why they would be the ones to bite?
I have no idea.
They actually need the protein in our blood to make eggs.
Oh.
So once they bite, that blood digests, and then they're ready to lay eggs.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I had no idea. I also didn't know that mosquitoes start their life off in water.
Yeah, they have a complete metamorphosis, but yeah, very similar. They go through those different life stages, which is why it's so important that we don't have dirty water in our backyard. Especially last week we had a lot of rain. Now we're going to be having sort of warm temperatures, so that combination of the warm weather and the water kind of gives mosquitoes a head start, unfortunately. So that's why it becomes very important that people do their part in drain that water.
Yeah, and why should locals be concerned about mosquitoes to really fight the bite?
Yeah, so they should be very concerned because, as we mentioned earlier, there's West Nile virus.
Right.
That's the #1 disease that we have in our area. And actually in California last year, there was 12 deaths related to West Nile virus and more than about 126 human cases. But aside from mosquitoes, they're not only a nuisance. Of course, they can transmit diseases. So we just want people to be careful and make sure that they're doing everything that they can to stay protected.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you were able to highlight. I mean, it's unfortunate that there were some deaths related to West Nile virus. And what are some of the symptoms of West Nile virus so that we can be alert and prepared?
Yes, so some of the main symptoms include headache, fever, fatigue, maybe some swollen lymph nodes. Maybe you have some nausea, some vomiting. So 80% of the people that have West Nile virus, your body kind of gets rid of those symptoms on its own. 20% of those people develop what we call the West Nile virus fever with some of those symptoms that I just mentioned. And then the very severe cases of West Nile virus, 1 in 150 people develop the encephalitis or the meningitis, and those are the cases that can actually lead to death, sadly.
Wow. Okay, so how can you help us fight the bite? What products should we be using or grabbing for to help prevent getting bitten by mosquitoes?
Yes, so if you're going to be spending time outdoors, it's very important that you always stay safe by wearing a good mosquito repellent. Go to your local pharmacy somewhere, just get something that you're going to be able to use. There's different kinds of repellent. There's some natural ones. Oil of lemon eucalyptus is a good option for people that are looking for a more natural alternative. But basically, anytime you're going to be spending time outdoors, it's important to stay protected. Find one that you like and use it, because that will go a long way in making sure that you're staying protected. If you don't like repellent, then making sure that you're wearing some long sleeves, covering up your skin, closing the door. But the most important thing that residents can do is just making sure that people are draining standing water around their home.
That's important to know. Yes, we don't want to have those babies being born in the house.
Yes, exactly.
So as much as we can avoid that as possible is the best, because those bites are just so painful.
Yes.
Luz, thank you so much for updating us, especially for Mosquito Awareness Week. And for more information, you can visit fightthebite.net.